You there?
I'm here. Are you
Well,
here?
about time, man. Yeah, I'm here, man.
It's quiet. Ray Charles down here. See,
Okay.
can you hear me now?
I can, but I don't know. I don't think you're allowed to say "Let's quiet Ray Charles down."
Right.
That's like telling Sammy Davis Jr. to get off the stage. I just don't think you can do that.
Yeah, you're right.
I
Here
don't.
we go.
I don't think. I don't think you can do that. You want to stop and go back and start over? Okay, great. Hey, big news today about our boy Pete Carroll, huh?
Hey, I got a trivia question
Okay.
about that. Pete Carroll, you were saying the big news. I interrupted you.
No, it's all right. Just him taking over at the for the Raiders. That's amazing.
Getting the head coach's job at the Raiders. He's as the season progresses, he will pass Romeo Crennel
Yeah.
as the oldest head coach in NFL history. But that's
And,
not the question I had. I
oh,
thought maybe ask the trivia question and then we'd give the answers later. So I give you time to ruminate on it a bit. Pete
okay.
Carroll
All
is
right,
now
I'll write it down. Go ahead.
all right. Pete Carroll is now one of three different people who have held four NFL head coaching positions, four different teams. Only two other guys have done that.
Okay. Oh, am I? Oh, I need to care.
You don't need to care. I just thought we'd bring it up and our
Okay.
might kind of hang out and listen to our watch our podcast, and later we'll let our viewer know, or
Who the other ones are? Okay.
might be two by now.
Yeah.
Let our viewers know who the other two guys are and what
Sure.
teams.
Sure.
So anyway, Pete Carroll, big news.
Yeah. I mean, stepping into the AFC West, man, that's a tough group right there. I mean, you know, he's got his and then some really good coaching, that he's going up against. So,
The second oldest guy in the league right now,
yeah,
Andy Reid,
Andy Reid, yeah.
Chiefs, of
So,
course.
yeah, I mean that is
They're
you
trying to
know,
do a three-peat, which has never been done.
yeah, we'll see. Hey.
Closest were the Patriots, who were saying, "Hey, 2 out of 3 ain't bad." Where they
Mhm.
actually won 3 out of 4. They won two, lost one, and then won the next one.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the Chiefs, of course, Andy Reid and Mahomes and Kelsey and all that,
Uh-huh.
and the Broncos, the Bo Nix, Sean Payton, resurgent Broncos, right?
Yep. Yeah.
And
And then the Chargers.
Harbaugh
Yeah.
with Justin Herbert and the
Justin
Chargers,
Herbert and Harbaugh, yeah. Which is a great
which,
combination. Those
which
two are
here they are once again, third time now that they're going to be division rivals of sorts, right?
yeah. Yep.
Because the Seahawks and the Niners, of course, in the early 2010s. But even back to them when Harbaugh was at Stanford and Carroll was at USC.
Yeah.
They had
Yeah.
as much as Richard Sherman had the meme with Tom Brady, you mad, bro, right?
Yep.
24-23 game in Seattle, where he was known for it. People go talk trash to him before the game, and Brady go, "Yeah, come talk to me after the game. We'll see."
Yeah.
Sherman did that. He went up to him and said, "Hey, it's the game's over. What do you?"
Yeah.
Great game. I watched that game like 3 or 4 times on NFL Replay or whatever it was called back then.
Yeah.
But then in USC versus Stanford, apparently Harbaugh ran up the score on Carroll one game, and the after game handshake, Carroll asked Harbaugh, "What's your deal, man?"
Nice. Yeah.
Uh,
What's
you
your
know,
deal? You sandbagging points for next season? What's
yeah,
the deal?
would
Yeah.
Pete have held back? I kind of wonder.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. So
I was looking uh at the Raiders, because oh my God, they just they need some help. They need some cultural change, right?
sure.
They do have I mean, we love Minshew, right? I mean, I think
Yeah,
he's a, personal little fan favorite between us here on
you guy.
on the cast, right? Uh, but man, I mean, he finished the year just over 2,000, yards. Not,
Late season either.
yeah,
Aiden O'Connell came in late in the season and
sure,
a couple of games on top
Yeah.
of it.
Um, and
So
then you,
I think you and I are. I think what we're doing here is we're admitting as much as you and I love Minshew and the stash and all that stuff. I think we're acknowledging he's maybe not
yeah,
the
I don't
guy.
know. We'll see, right? We'll see what Pete wants to do because Pete has got a history of taking underperforming players and turning them around, right?
They're just
But he,
taking advantage of their best skill
yeah,
set.
yep. But he's also got a history of taking players that are uh, taking up a roster spot and replacing them with players that can perform,
Yeah.
right? I mean, he's not afraid to bring in four quarterbacks to compete for that role.
Well,
So
that's the whole thing. Is always compete, always compete,
yeah,
always compete.
yeah,
If you're on the practice field, another phrase I used to watch him. I used to catch some video of practices, and he'd be the guy doing it too. He says,
yeah,
"If you're not running, you're wrong.
yeah,
You're not running, you're wrong." So always compete. If you're not running, you're wrong. And
yeah,
yeah, I remember that first season or two in Seattle with him and Schneider, and they made these just an amazing amount of transactions, just bringing guys in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out until they found the that
yep.
foundation and everything
They
settled.
found that foundation. Yeah.
And
I another piece there is the Raiders defense, right? Because I mean, they got shredded, repeatedly, but they've got, their three defensive ends. Uh,
Max,
Crosby's one of them. Uh, Taylor, no, Wilson, Terry Wilson, or Terry Wilson, excuse me. And there's another guy in there. They are they're top rate, man. Those three they are heavy hitters, man. And then they've got that tackle, the young kid Butler. So I mean, you've got a core there for your defense to build off, and I think he's got something to work with there. So yeah, he's got, it's going to take him a season to start building that core, but I think by the middle, or excuse me, the off season and the beginning of this one, but I think by mid 25, you're going to see that team starting to gel a little bit.
yeah, kind of. I'm looking
That
at last year's depth chart. Well, as it finished the
mhm.
season, Minshew on IR, Aiden O'Connell and Desmond Ritter, and then a guy named Carter Bradley is probably on the practice squad. But they're running backs. They kept going back from Amir Abdullah and Alexander Madison, and
Mhm.
gosh, they had another guy, didn't they?
Yeah, that's where there definitely needs some help there. I
And
mean,
Pete loves the run, man.
yeah, yeah, they need some help there. They don't have enough
You were talking
depth.
about how he'll go out and find another guy. I mean, they went. Uh, Marshawn Lynch was in Buffalo. He's the second guy on the depth chart behind their incumbent, and he had a DWI, and people were starting to wonder, does he really fit in Buffalo? And Pete went, "We'll take him,
Yeah, like
take him."
yeah,
And like you were saying, Pete will bring in these guys and get the best out of them, but he'll also, say, "Hey, you got a DWI, you got a history, whatever." And Pete had these three rules. I can't remember, but the big one was don't hurt the team
yeah. Don't hurt the team.
on the field or off the field. Don't hurt the team. You
Yep.
know, so don't
Yeah,
get in
and you
trouble.
can see the history there of those that hurt the team are the ones that didn't make it.
Yeah, they didn't stay around long. He
Yeah,
was one
they
to
didn't.
forgive, because
Another weapon there, one that can't be overlooked is
Brock
uh,
Bowers.
Brock. Yeah,
Yeah,
Bauer.
I was
That
gonna
kid.
get to them. Yeah,
Yeah, I
he,
mean,
what a
there's
weapon.
there's a weapon that they didn't.
Wow.
You can't overlook that kid.
No,
And so, you know, for me, I'll just finish it out with this. That could be the saving grace that could be Russell Wilson's prayers being answered. Of they need a quarterback, and he and Carroll get along swimmingly.
we were
That
trying to
could
figure it
be
out.
that
Where
could be that short
does
term
this
fix
land? I
right
brought up
there.
the Raiders even before Carroll was there.
Yep.
Just a big question mark.
Yeah.
And Carroll, it's interesting how he and Schneider developed this philosophy of, we don't really care what they said on their way out. We're always willing to
Yeah.
bring them.
The
Like,
door's open. Yeah.
like when
Bobby can
Bobby
flip
left,
everybody off, and we'll still take him back.
when
Yeah.
that was Earl Thomas, but when Bobby left, even Schneider admitted, yeah, we messed that up. But it was difficult because he was his own agent and the way free agency worked, and but we still messed it up. And Bobby is allowed to say whatever he wants to say. And he was back the next season
Yeah.
after a season with the Rams. So yeah, could
No, I wasn't
bygones be
mistaken there.
bygones?
I wasn't talking about Earl Thomas on the back of the cart. I was
Oh,
talking about Bobby Wagner, in
more of
the
a
just,
virtual
just
figure
telling
after.
them flat out, well, hey,
Sorry.
I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
you know.
Well, he was yeah, Thomas was, he's trying to renegotiate his contract, and the team was going, and then he breaks his leg against Cam Chancellor's iron leg,
Yep.
and on his way
Uh,
out, flipping
Yeah.
everybody off for not getting a new contract before he got his injury.
Yeah.
Hey, God, that's kind of why we did it. And then what an ignominious fall from grace over there with
Yeah.
the Raiders. Maybe save that for another episode.
Yeah. There you go.
But yeah, would Pete Carroll let bygones be bygones and bring Russ back and make him the bridge quarterback until they could get another guy?
It
Could
depends. It all depends on the money because I
like
think he's gonna be rebuilding a lot. And so they're not going to want to eat up a lot of salary cap with that quarterback. They're going to want to draft somebody, get somebody low, for low overhead, and then go from there. You know, Russ, as old as he is, but as good as he is, you know, I
yeah,
would,
but
you
Pete
know,
knows how to get the best out of Russ's talents, like you were just talking
yeah,
about.
yeah. I don't,
Um,
I don't see Russ running like he used to. I don't see Russ getting 30 million a year. I don't.
and the Raiders pick sixth.
Yeah. So there you go. That gives you that opportunity to snag a stud quarterback and then put somebody in there in that bridge to help. You get Gardner on the bench. There's your backup. That kid's already shown that he can play,
Yeah,
right?
whoever put this list together on NFL Network or NFL News, they mentioned two late season wins took the Raiders out of the hunt for the top five pick, but they still need to find a franchise quarterback in the draft or free agency, in
Hmm.
addition to adding talent at running back and receiver, just
Yeah.
like you were talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, though we'll get there, right? It's still early. All right.
Yeah. But Pete Carroll,
We still got to get over the Chiefs and the Bills, right? I mean, we still got to get through that. We got to get through the Eagles and the Commanders.
yeah, and the favorites are
Well, the Chiefs are up by, they're favored by what, a point and a half or something. So
at
not a
home.
whole lot,
Is that all?
right?
I mean, you get three
Yeah.
points just for being at home.
No,
So
they're only favored by like a point. I mean, at least that's what I read this morning. I could be, moderately dyslexic. The '80s were very good to me, so
interesting the dynamic too with I mean the refs, all the talk about the officiating the last couple of weeks. You got to wonder if those officials this upcoming game are going to be a little more.
fair.
Yeah, searching
But
for
I don't know what else. I don't know what to say. That that stat.
for a
You know,
more diplomatic word. That's it.
you
So
know. Uh,
it'll be interesting.
yeah,
Are
the
they?
Chiefs. Yeah, that stat of the Chiefs playing 11 straight playoff games since 21 without committing more penalties than their opponents.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
that's
longest streak by any team in 30 years.
yeah.
That is a pretty that's pretty tough. It's
That's a
pretty tough to look at that and go, "Oh, no, they're just really good." Well,
Yeah, you might want to give a bit of that to Andy Reid, but on the other hand, after a while, it's like the college professors who look at the average grade of a final that all their his students took and goes bullshit.
yeah.
This
Well,
is not statistically possible, and he calls out the class.
yeah.
Uh, that you kind of
There's some
support
there's
that. And
some
good as Andy Reid is at being a coach, and as good as these guys are, statistically, that starts to tell a
yeah,
different story other
that's
than
a different story.
execute.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
interesting, or excuse me, from my perspective, I find it interesting how vocal Mahomes is towards the refs during their decision process, and he doesn't get called on it. Like he'll get right up there with the refs and telling them what the penalty is, and then they'll go off and talk about it. Like, yeah, he's gonna, it's like what the fuck, man? Get your 5 yards back before you get a personal foul for getting in our space. I've seen him like get right in there, touch them, and like, no, 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 man, come on. That kind of stuff is,
Much like Brady used to do. Yeah.
yeah, there you go. Much like Brady used to do,
When they
right?
gave him the 10 million or that 10-year, $250 million contract,
Yeah,
he became the face of the NFL, and they got the back-to-back Super Bowls and Andy Reid,
yeah,
and
yeah.
look
I
at
mean,
his. He's got the other fun guy, Travis Kelsey. Hey, this is kind of like Brady and Gronk, and
and I mean, he's
the
good.
big
Don't get me
ball.
wrong. The kid is great. It's fun to watch Mahomes play.
Let's
He's
all play by the
really,
same.
but there, yeah, I was making notes on what the Bills have to do, right? To like, what should, my thoughts on the game plan. They've got to they got to play very clean, right? Because the refs are not on their payroll, so they have to play clean. And I mean that, and I'm not being a snippet little bitch. I mean that because
Yeah,
that's how I watch it. Um, they got to move and they got to throw the ball. They got to keep that KC defense off balance, man. Running those options and just get that triple threat with Allen and his legs, and uh, there you
yeah.
go.
And
Score
they got
early and not stop.
they got two great running backs to keep them honest. That rookie Ray, right? He stepped up. Their main running back was hurt at one point, had to sit out a game, and the
Uh-huh.
rookie stepped up, and the whole team was like, "Holy cow, this guy's awesome!" So they've got a double threat back there in the backfield, and you just said it, Josh Allen. He's a big
Yeah.
linebacker size threat guy to run, like kind of like Andrew Luck used to be, right?
Yeah.
And so yeah, you keep them honest, and then you give those receivers some depth in the field, and you know set them
Yeah.
up,
Set
clink
them
clink,
up.
boom, clink clink,
Yeah.
boom.
And you got a couple of great tight ends that can just, hit that middle of the infield that gets that screen option. And I mean, you can open up the field.
And I
Uh,
think, yeah, the Chiefs. What do you do? Do you
well,
force them into just a short game? Just take away the end of the field, force them into a short game where they got to dink and dunk. Because I mean,
yeah,
they've got a number.
control the line of scrimmage. I think that's their key. That's what they're going to have to do to contain Buffalo. They're going to have to hold that line of scrimmage, and then that forces them to, you know, lean on their backfield or lean on their defensive backs. But and pay the refs early. Make sure that they've got their money in their PayPal account before we get into
Oh,
the weekend,
yeah.
because gloves are off.
But gosh, I remember few playoff seasons ago. I can't remember what the team was. It might have been the Chargers when Gus Bradley was there. Can't remember who they were playing, but toward the end of the game, he just had six defensive backs out on the field. They had the
Mhm.
lead, and they just said, "Great, go play your
Yeah,
short. We'll
just
run
play
it.
your short game. Yeah,
Go ahead and
there
run
you
out
go.
the clock. We're going to keep you inside the. We're not going to let you go to the sidelines. We're going to take away the back end of the field, and you can just
Yeah,
find 3 to 5 yard your way down the field all you want because tick 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 tick.
yeah.
End up
And
working
then
out.
we'll turn it up. We'll turn it up when you get to about the 30 to hold
Yeah,
you to a field goal. And there you go. Right.
blitzed me a couple of times.
That's why I think that the Bills really need to score early. Right. They need to score early, and I mean they need to gain a good lead going into the second half.
You think if they win the coin toss, they should go ahead and get their offense on the field right away?
Yeah, I think so. I think they should just go after it because their offense is what, the 10th. I think they're the 10th, number 10, and the Chiefs are 16. So they got a little edge there. I think they press that. Their defense is better too. So just
So many games they've won
push.
this. So many games the Chiefs won this season, and you got to think. I mean, the way they won them, like the final play of the game, final
Soft.
score, the doink field goal that missed and you got to give a lot of credit to coaching. Just Andy Reid trying to make sure that they
Sure.
minimize mistakes as they're not scoring
Yeah. Oh yeah.
so yeah. So if you can, if like you said, the Bills, they got to execute, don't make any mistakes, score early,
Yeah.
punch hard. Can the
Yeah.
Chiefs and then take away their deep game? Because if you get them on their heels, do they really have a deep game? They've got Xavier Worthy. He's a good deep ball guy. They're rookie.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
But take him away. What does he got for a deep ball guy other than that? I don't know. Do you put Kareem Hunt out there and Yeah. So that's
Perhaps, perhaps.
oh,
I
what
mean,
a
he's got some wheels. Perhaps you do. Perhaps, Andy, he is a brilliant coach. You
yeah,
know,
no doubt
we
about that.
saw we saw the things that he did mid-season when they were going through their injured reserve times, right? Where he put out three tight ends, four tight ends, and he won the game
Yeah.
now.
Noah
So
Gray and Peyton Hendershot. Yeah.
yeah,
Look at
so
their depth chart over.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's part of their game plan is, hey, who do we have that can go deep here? If we need to, what are we going to do? And
DeAndre.
let Patrick air it out,
They got
right?
They got
The fool's
Hollywood
got an
Brown.
arm, man.
They got Hollywood Brown back. He's
Oh,
and DeAndre Hopkins, Juju Smith-Schuster.
yeah. Hopkins he's still got some gas in the tank. How they let him get acquired by the I just
He was unhappy where he was. He was with the
yeah,
Titans.
but
What's
but
funny is he whined his way out of wherever he was to get to the Titans. Then he whined his way out of Tennessee to get to Kansas City.
get Kansas City. Yeah.
Uh, what
And
a
he
what a
does stand a good chance of playing in the Super Bowl. So, hey, you wind your way there. Good for
and
him.
then Isaiah Pacheco's back. Kareem
Yep.
Hunt.
Pacheco's back. Yeah. That's good. That's good for them. He's a great player, man. I like watching that guy play. I
Hunt.
like watching him. No, Pacheco.
Yeah.
Well, Hunt too. Don't get me wrong. Yes, of course.
Yeah. Pacheco. He was my fantasy guy, but
Yeah.
broke his leg. He was out 6 8 weeks. I kept him on my roster just because I thought,
Yeah.
if
The
he
guy's
comes.
out for 6 weeks with a broken leg. You and me, we'd still be out. We'd be out till next year. We'd be out till next spring,
I could
right?
still. You can see
Yeah.
my leg track.
That's it. I'd be pushing you up the ramp to spring training games, right? I mean, that's pretty much what would be going on. We'd have to move our seats around and,
Oh
you
yes,
know,
the aisle. Excuse me,
yeah,
sorry. Sorry.
yeah,
Oh,
oh yeah, we'd put you right in that chair next to our happy. I got you. Oh, that's funny.
so the Bills, yeah, running back James Cook, Ray Davis, and then they turned the running backs at the beginning of the season. Yeah, I don't think you'd have known them. One of them was a rookie, maybe two. They brought in Amari Cooper, but they had Khalil Shakir, Keon Coleman, Curtis Samuel, Mac Hollins.
Uh-huh.
It's a they had Dalton Kincaid as their top
Yeah,
end,
they've
but now
got a
it's Dawson
they've got
Knox.
a lot of. It's like they're playing Moneyball. They got a lot
Yeah,
of
well,
mid high to mid range guys.
that's their GM. That's their
Yeah,
GM now is Brandon Beane. He's literally the Moneyball guy from the A's.
yep.
He moved over to football and he's
There you go.
he's the
He's
GM
working,
now for the
and he's
Buffalo
making
Bills.
it work.
You hit
Yeah,
it right on the head. That's the guy.
yeah.
So yeah, they're
I mean, Allen had over 500 yards rushing, man, for the season. That's quite a lot, dude. That's somebody turning the wheels on. I mean, that's a running back's running. I mean, that's more than what's his name had from the Raiders. That's more than Alexander Madison had for the Raiders,
yeah.
right? And he's a full-time running back, you know. So I think they've got a very good chance of well, I just think turning it on. I think they really are gonna.
No doubt about it.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think they need to control that line and just hit them hard, hit them fast, and beat up that old line. I mean, KC's good, but you get some older players on that line. I think it's time to make them pay.
I'm really hoping it's going to be a slobber knocker.
Oh
But
man,
we have the I-95 NFC East championship game here with the Commanders going to play the Eagles. Jayden Daniels story to Cinderella story. Is
yeah,
it a Cinderella story if it's just a new guy, or does it have to be a
sure.
comeback, or just be out
Let's
of
go. I like it. I think we can just use it. I mean, I don't, you know.
it's a Cinderella story.
Oh
It's
yeah, it is.
Brian Robinson.
I think from the Commanders' perspective, they got to manage the clock like they've done. Like they've shown where they can just get those 3 4 yard plays and just own the clock 7 8 minutes at a time and
Dan
just
Quinn.
wear that defense down.
That's
That's
Dan.
what they need to do against the Eagles. Because their or offensive line, you get them on the field, and it's hard to get to Jalen. So if Jalen's hurt, they should be going after him and try to get him to scramble
Be
and
wearing a knee brace, he said.
yeah, and try to get him to test that leg. But if they can't get to him, you know, what do? You keep
I
him
think
off the field.
I think even if you just make him run around all game, by the end of the game, he's going to be shot.
Yeah,
He's going to be gassed. He's going to.
yeah.
that leg's going to start giving up on him. And
Well, that's kind of my point is their offensive line is, they're big and burly and the Commanders are, that
there's a reason the brotherly shove works.
yeah.
The
And
tush,
so if you can't get to them, keep them off the field. Keep
even
their defense out there and just beat them down. Beat them down until you get to the third, fourth quarter, and then just run it up. Um, and that kid is fast. I mean, there's another weapon. Daniels is fast, man. That kid has got some wheels on him.
yeah.
So, and again, they are, yeah. Um, yeah, and I think the Eagles, yeah, it's, back to that. They need to control the line of scrimmage and protect Jayden because even if he comes out and he's feeling juiced up and that glucosamine has got him moving, it's only going to take a couple times scrambling or rolled over once with that brace on, and he's going to be slowed way down, right? And we
Yeah.
don't,
So what is the over under on Kenny Pickett coming in for Jalen Hurts?
Penny Pickett. Well, the Eagles are favored by like 6 points, so
So
they're favored in this game.
give
So
him 3 for the home, and 3 after that. That's pretty respectable for a team like the Commanders. That
yeah,
were they a wild card? I
I,
can't.
I would have to go back. My brain doesn't work that. My brain only goes back to last
They
week.
were the 6th seed. Yeah, they were a wild card team in the NFC Championship game.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, they beat Tampa Bay.
They
They
beat
beat
Tampa Bay. Yeah, there you
and
go.
beating the Lions. Wow,
Yeah, and
there's,
then
there's
and
a
then
real
ate
Cinderella story
then
there.
ate the Lions for lunch. Good Lord. And that was the same playbook. Beat that defense down. Keep the offense on the field and beat the defense down. And don't let their offense get out there.
They got
It was pretty effective.
they're gonna Parcells always used to say you got to steal a possession.
Yeah,
That's why
sure.
Sean kicked that onside kick in the first half against the Colts in the Super Bowl. They stole a possession, right?
Yeah.
How do you how do
Yeah.
you how do you steal a possession there? That's I think the Commanders got to find a way to steal a possession from the Eagles, and I don't know what it looks like. I don't know how you do it, but I think that's what's gonna take to take that 6 point advantage and just
Yeah.
stymie.
Get some turnovers there. Try to get some fumbles, punching that ball out. Right.
Peanut punch, yeah,
Yeah.
on the kick return, on the punt return, on
Yep. That peanut punch, baby. That's one of the I love that they loosened up that rule because that certainly helps a lot.
do the old well, speaking of the Seahawks, storm to the ball and do the tip drill, right?
Yeah.
That was gosh, at 2012, 2013, 2014, it was interesting watching that because they would literally tip it and you'd see Earl Thomas fall into the ground and he would tip it up and Cam Chancellor
Yeah.
anybody that couldn't get an angle to actually catch it would just tip it up and here come Bobby Wagner, Malcolm
Yep.
Smith, somebody to
Hit it up in the air. Your
but they
buddies
would
are coming.
they would actually practice that, and we got to remember Dan Quinn is their head coach now. I mean, he was our guy back then,
Yeah.
So, boy, wouldn't that be something? Commanders and Bills,
Yeah. Boy, I'd like to see that.
Bills, Eagles were there just 2 years ago, weren't they? Eagles were there, yeah, 2 seasons ago. Lost to Kansas City. San Francisco last season
Mhm.
lost to Kansas City.
I think it changed a lot too, to go sideways a little bit. I think if Kansas City gets knocked out this weekend, right? And our fantasies come true, the the 36-2 comes through. 'Cause I really like that too, where you're at the end, you got a minute left and you're just running backwards with the ball. Then you take a knee to give them that safety. You take a knee, give them a safety, flip them off, and then punt it to them, and they got a second left. And you know, uh, but what happens to Kansas City after that, right? What happens if Kansas City gets knocked out this round? You've got a lot of players that, you know, I wouldn't, like Kelsey. Kelsey's a great player, but I could see Kelsey walking away. I could see him saying, "Okay, I've had enough,
Also
man."
picked up Rashee Rice, who's going to have a suspension at the beginning of the season.
Yeah,
troubles over from wrecking that rented Lamborghini or whatever it was.
Sure.
Then he and his buddies fleeing the scene while on video. But between him and
Yeah. Hey, aren't we supposed to wait and do that like right before the preseason? I thought there was a schedule for that,
but
like
he,
in late July, something like that.
Rasheed Rice, and the other running Isaiah Pacheco, you
Hmm.
know, yeah. So they lose a big tight end like Kelsey, but Noah Gray stepped in pretty good. I'm not saying he's a Kelsey, but they do
Sure.
have some new other offensive weapons to take their place. They might have to morph their offense a little bit, but
Yeah.
that having Steve Spagnuolo as their defensive coordinator, the head coach worthy kind of guy. That's just he's staying there. I think he even said at the end of the season, "No, I don't want to go head coach anywhere else." Then again, I think he's getting paid $3 million a year as a
Yeah.
coordinator,
He's probably feeling it, right?
and he's been a
It,
head coach before. And he's like, I'm making $3 million a year now. Why would I go?
yeah. Plus my bonus package and everything. I mean, God, my kids are in the press box. What do I need?
Yeah. So
Sure.
yeah. Oh, we're at the 9 minute warning.
Whoa, 9 minute warning.
All right. Um. Oh, our trivia question.
Oh, I
The
forgot what it
other
was.
two.
It was Pete Carroll has coached 4 NFL teams. Who are the other two that have done that?
Who are the other two? Care to venture a guess?
No?
So to make it so if this isn't some arcane thing where it was back in the 50s. No, this is the mid 80s on. It's pretty modern era, so it's a pretty accessible. uh let's see, let me if I think if I give you the teams, you could guess the coach for one of them. It's the New York Giants, New England Patriots, New York Jets, Dallas Cowboys.
No.
He drafted Drew Bledsoe for the Patriots. Phil Simms and Lawrence Taylor were on his team for the
You can give me
Giants.
all the hints you want, but sometimes I only pay attention to the coach that's yelling at me.
He's the big,
Guna?
he's the big tuna, the big tuna. Bill Parcells himself.
Bill
Oh
Parcells.
yeah, he coached 4 teams. He coached the Giants, the Patriots, the Jets, and the Cowboys. Worked for Jerry.
Wow.
When he went to the Jets, it was a big deal because when he left the job from the Patriots, and the Patriots had a deal. Hey, if you get back into head coaching, you have a contract with us. You're going to come back to us. And he went and took the job with the Jets a couple years later, and the Jets cried foul. No, 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 you can't do that. So Paul Tagliabue stepped in and went, well, it's he can go do what he wants. You guys already have a head coach, so they had to give up like I think it was a first round draft pick and a fourth round draft pick for that season, a second round draft pick the next season, and like a first round draft pick the season after that. I thought, well, how the hell are you going to win with the Jets if you can't get all of that?
You can't, yeah.
Yeah. No. And then notoriously, when he left, Bill Parcells took over the head coaching job for like a day, and then wrote on a napkin, "I quit," and went to the Patriots and was there for 20
Okay,
years.
I like that part. Like, just put a cigarette out on
Literally,
it. I'm out of here.
he had a press conference and everything. We're here to announce Bill Belichick, new head coach of the defensive coordinator of the Jets, is being promoted to head coach. And like the next day, he got offered the Patriots job, and he literally just wrote on something, "Hey, this is my resignation," and handed it in. And that was it. He was the
Yeah.
coach of the Jets for like half a day. I don't know if he signed anything or
I
what,
need
but
you all to prorate my pay for half a day's work. I'm out of here.
the other guy's a little harder to figure out because he's probably the winningest coach that never won a Super Bowl. He had he had at one time he had LaDainian Tomlinson and Drew Brees in his offensive backfield. He had Joe Montana and Marcus Allen on the same field. Uh, Not sure we had. I think with the so he's the head coach of the Browns. I think he had Bernie Kosar and then maybe later Vinny Testaverde.
Wow.
Uh,
Bernie Kosar.
yeah, good old Bernie.
Huh.
From the Browns.
Wow.
Who did he coach next? I think he coached the Kansas City Chiefs next, and that's where he had Montana and Allen. And then he coached, and he used, and then I think he went in the booth for a while, and he used to be really critical of Dan Snyder, the old owner of the Washington now Commanders. And so head coaching position came up, and Dan Snyder hired him. He was there for a year, and then he fired him. And it's part of me that wonders if he just hired him just so he could fire him. And then he went to the Chargers, San Diego Chargers, where he had Drew Brees and LaDainian Tomlinson. Marty Schottenheimer,
Marty,
whose son just signed on to be the head coach of the Dallas
the
Cowboys.
Dallas Cowboys. Yeah.
Former Seattle Seahawk.
Yeah. Boy.
Like,
And wasn't he the defensive coordinator for Dallas?
yeah.
Offensive coordinator. Yeah. So I mean, it's like they're like, dude, you know better, right? I mean, you know what you're getting into.
Yeah, but I kind of wonder, where else is Brian going to go other than maybe stay as a coordinator? Is he going to get a head coaching opportunity? Here, yeah, he gets to be a head coach, but it's probably because I don't think the likes of Pete Carroll and Bill Belichick want that job. It's like Troy Aikman. I think it was the end of the divisional round, and they were talking after the game on the panel, and they said, "Oh, the coveted head coaching job for the Dallas Cowboys being available because Mike McCarthy's stepping away." And Troy Aikman said, "Look, I played there for 12 years. I love the Dallas Cowboys, but I don't think I'd call that head coaching position coveted."
Yeah, coveted. What do you mean? There are other words I would use to describe
better. Because, well, Jerry, he's just insistent that he's the GM, and okay, it's your team. You can do what you want with it. But also the tours they do that let people come around. I mean, imagine you're rehabbing and you're in the whirlpool and, you're for something and people are walking around and kind of poking at you, and
taking selfies with you as you're in the ice bath. Yeah.
We're not zoo creatures. Yeah. So Jerry, like I said, I think Jerry wants to win just enough to sell jerseys.
Yeah.
He's just happy to be in the news with those post-game scrums and his multiple weekly. He's like Trump, but just the head coach of it. He just wants to be in front of a microphone and have people.
Yeah, selling enough baseball hats and jerseys to keep the lights on.
He's a businessman first.
Yep, and it's a big tax write-off for him too.
Not like Pat Bowen for the Broncos, who was like, win first, everything else will follow. Jerry's promote first, and then maybe we'll win.
And then maybe we'll win, but we have a beautiful stadium. Come on down and get a $12 beer.
State.
Yeah.
This beautiful tour will let you go on.
Well, we'll see what happens this weekend. We'll rally up next week.
Yeah. We're on our 2-minute warning here.
Yep.
No. And
parting words? Any words of wisdom? Last minute, any thoughts? We both agree. Bills over the Chiefs.
Play clean. Got to play it clean. The Bills know. They just know. We can't let the refs beat us. It's going to be execution and
and tackle Mahomes low.
So excited. So for us in the Pacific time zone, it's going to be Commanders at Eagles at noon on Fox.
Yeah, look at that.
3:30, we'll have the Bills and the Chiefs.
Man, and we will be done by 7 and in bed by 8.
Wouldn't that be great?
Oh man, it'd be amazing.
I mean, unless you and I get together to do a 15-minute follow-up, that's just going to be great.
It could be. We'll see. All right.
At 9:15. All right. See you later.
Yeah, most of the time I'm falling asleep. You're texting me that.
All right, man.
All right, sports fans.
Well, see you, brother.
Clearly, if you listen to this, we really have no idea.
I got to tell you, everything I've said today, I really have no idea.
Well, there we go.
I have no idea. In the comments, please correct us. Tell us how terrible we are. Please, feel free. What do I know?
I don't know.
But we are the only two that will admit it.
Oh, I'm sure that anyone that wants to hit in the comments will tell you clearly you have no idea. Well, there you go. All right, man. See you next time.